Hey everyone, welcome back. Ethan and I are here again to discuss the latest things going on in the Cubs world. First, we're just going to tackle sort of just a general sort of like state of the Cubs, how they're doing so far here in mid-May, how things are looking in the coming weeks, and then we'll move into more specific players. So, Ethan, obviously the Cubs are half a game out of first place right now, just trailing the Brewers. General thoughts on how the Cubs are doing so far?
Originally, I wanted to crack a joke where it's like we kind of need to like run a state of emergency on the Cubs, that almost like half the team is injured, and we'll get into that a little bit later into our videos. But my God, it has been a rough season for injuries for the Cubs. I think we need to start out a little bit by saying the doctors are probably rejoicing for the Cubs on how much injuries there's been, but we've also been holding our own with bringing people up from the minors and our prospects kind of holding their own, whether it was Pete Crow Armstrong or Javier Assad. We've at least been lucky enough that we've had our younger guys really kind of stand their ground.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely a testament to the to all the depth that they've built up over the years. That was a big point of this rebuild as opposed to the last one. Jed Hoyer has made it a point that the Cubs wanted to have a very deep organization and a very deep farm system. Obviously, I don't think he was planning for something like this, which has sort of been like an Armageddon. Uh, get it, an Armageddon because all the pitchers are hurt, but
Ha ha ha.
um, but yeah, it's definitely been nice to see that the Cubs are continuing their winning ways. Obviously, Craig Counsell's done a great job in his first year as manager of the Cubs. At least I think so. But in the coming weeks, they're definitely going to be tested, especially with all the injuries. They just played the Pirates this weekend. They're playing the Braves currently as we record this. And then they're coming up on just a huge stretch. I think they're going to play all four of their division rivals in
It's
the
back to
coming.
back to back to back.
Yeah, with the Braves interlaced in there. So it's just very important stretch of games here. I think they play the Brewers at the end of May, which maybe that'll give them a chance to, sort of jostle first place away for a bit. But definitely an important stretch of games coming up.
Something that we've discussed a little bit. Again, we'll get into injuries a little bit later, but something that we discussed a little bit was that with all these injured people that we have some people returning from the IL, like Cody Bellinger, like Seiya Suzuki, like Justin Steele. So at least we can kind of say, thank God that again we had the youngsters kind of hold the line, and now we have our all stars coming back. And I think that's why when we saw against the Pirates, we have these high scoring games again because we have our all stars back holding the line. But I do kind of have, as I always say, butterflies in my stomach when I see, these very um high tier teams coming up in these upcoming weeks. I'm curious to see how the Cubs are gonna hold.
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's still May. There's plenty of time in the season, but I think as far as a mid-May stretch of games can go, this is about as important and critical of a stretch as the Cubs are going to have this season.